All right, I just wanted to say hi to everybody. I'm, excuse me, I'm George. I'm the instructional designer and online educator here at VoiceThread. The plan for today is to go over all of the VoiceThread basics. I'm going to show you how everything works in Canvas and show you a variety of examples along the way. And these examples I want you to think of as templates. Don't worry so much about the content that the instructors are giving. Just think of these as types of VoiceThreads that you can create and share with your students. All right, so before we dive into the fun stuff, I just want to let you know where some resources are. So you're looking at my VoiceThread homepage on the screen right now, and I have it set to view the basic tutorials. So these are available in everyone's VoiceThread account on their homepage, and that's the first type of link I'm going to show. So I was just mentioning that I'm going to show you how to add a VoiceThread homepage link into your course. That's the first link I'll show you how to add in Canvas, but your students and you can use that through this 3-bar menu. You can get to these basic tutorials. All right, and there's also the blue Help tab, which has written instructions. So if you're looking for something Canvas related or something related to any other features in VoiceThread, you can go through our help documentation and see the step-by-step written instructions for everything you need. Underneath that is the About menu, where you can contact our support team if you have any trouble with anything. You can also check out the research that's been done on VoiceThread or visit our blog. And next to that is our training menu, where you can sign up for our free workshops. And if you don't see something that you want to join that's upcoming, you can always check out the recordings on the right-hand side of that page. Now on the left-hand side of my homepage, you'll see the Groups and Courses panel. So these course groups are created automatically whenever you configure any of the different types of links I'm going to show you today. There's a few other things that happen automatically as well, and I'll get to those in a few moments. But I just wanted to start today from square one and just talk about what VoiceThread is. So these are different examples, and we'll spend more time on these in a little bit, but I just want you to see the basic structure of any VoiceThread. Regardless of how you plan to use it, there are a variety of different ways to use VoiceThread. They all have the same basic structure. There's some type of slide content, and there's a place for comments. So to create a VoiceThread, you just need to add those two elements, the slides and then the comments. Then I'll show you how to share this in a variety of ways in Canvas in just a moment. But to give you a definition for what VoiceThread is, from a technical perspective, a VoiceThread is an asynchronous multimedia slideshow that allows you to have a discussion with your students on whichever slides you like. From a more conceptual standpoint, I always describe VoiceThread as a virtual classroom, meaning that whatever you do in a face-to-face classroom, you can do on VoiceThread, whether that's some type of lecture, discussion, student assessments, announcements, reviews, all of that stuff can be done on VoiceThread. I'm going to take you through some of those examples in just a little bit, but first I want to show you how to create one, and then we'll dive into the Canvas stuff. So from my homepage, I can go on to the Create tab, and the first step is to add my slides, right? I need to figure out what media I want to have. So if I click Add Media, you'll see there are 6 different ways to bring slide content into my VoiceThread. I can go through my computer and upload any files that I want: PowerPoint, Keynote, presentations, images, documents, video files, and that's where I'm going to go in just a moment, but I want to give you a quick tour of these other options first, so you know what's available. The second one down is the media sources. And if I click on that, you'll see that I can bring in slides and or comments from other VoiceThreads that I've created. I can bring in images from Flickr's Creative Commons licensed image database. I can connect my Google account to my VoiceThread account and import content from my Google Drive. And we also have the New York Public Library's public domain database of images. All right, that's all through the media sources. These two in the middle I wouldn't worry too much about. The audio recording is for an audio-only slide, so that's primarily used by podcasters. The webcam photo is basically a selfie slide. More frequently, you'll see people use the webcam video, though. So you can record directly from your webcam as a video slide on VoiceThread, and I'll show you a couple of examples of instructors who do this pretty effectively. And finally, there's the URL option. So if I click on this, I can paste a YouTube link here and click Save, and that will import that YouTube video into my VoiceThread as a video slide. All right, but I'm going to go through my computer for this. So if I click on my computer, I can get into my files and folders here. So let's say I teach a course on social work and I want to create some type of lecture or review, some direct instruction for my students. So I'm going to go through and find the files that I want. And remember, this can be a mix of all different sorts of media, video, documents, etc. So I'm going to give this a title. Call this Social Work 101 Lecture 1. And I click Save. All right, now I can see the thumbnails of the slides that I've uploaded already. I can go in to add more from any of these sources if I want. And I can also change the order of the slides just by dragging and dropping them where I want them. All right, but let's say I'm happy with what I have right now. I'm ready to move on to the final step, which is to comment. So I click Comment, and that will open the VoiceThread up in the media player. So this is how it will look and work in Canvas. To record, you just click on the plus sign and you can choose from one of 5 commenting options: text, telephone, audio, webcam, or file upload. So let's say I want to record audio over this slide. I click on the microphone and now I'm recording. The red light's blinking, the timer has started, and I also see this pencil icon. This is what we call the doodle tool. So the doodle tool shows up whenever you record an audio or webcam comment. If you click on the doodle tool, you can change colors and you can decide if you want your drawings to fade or not. So I'm going to keep this set to fade, but I'm going to change the color to red. And I can annotate just by clicking and dragging my cursor around. All right, so whatever you want to point out to your students, just like a laser pointer, you can draw their eye to that part of the slide. Whenever you're done saying whatever it is that you want to say, you click Stop Recording. It'll process your comment and play it back for you. And then you can choose to cancel, save, or record more. Now I'm recording. The red light's blinking. The timer has started. All right, so I click Save, and my comment for slide 1 appears in the conversation channel for slide 1. And now I can use my navigation arrows in the bottom right to go to the next slide and continue to record my lecture. All right, so I can annotate as I need to. Once again, I can change colors. All right, talk about whatever it is that I'm saying here. When I'm done, once again, I stop and I can cancel, save, or record more. All right, so I can annotate as I need to. All right, so I click Save and my comment is being saved in the conversation channel for slide 2. And I can repeat this process for as many slides as I have. All right, so that's the basics of what VoiceThread is. Before we get into the Canvas stuff, I just want to pause here to see if we have any questions. Is there anything about the creation process that you want to drill down on, anything that doesn't quite make sense to you? You can always feel free to unmute your mic and ask or put your question in the chat if you do have questions.
Actually, I do have a quick question.
Sure.
You're showing how we would do this with the slide. If I uploaded a document, would I be doing the same thing but scrolling up and down?
It would be the exact same thing. The slide will fill up the screen here, and you can record your audio over it. You can always zoom in if you want to, or zoom out.
Okay.
Based on the format, of the screen, I usually recommend if you can certainly upload documents, and I'll show you an example of that in just a minute. But because of the orientation of your screen, VoiceThread is set to fill the screen. So slides tend to work better. So if you can, put things into a slide format, like a landscape format, it'll be bigger and fill up the screen a little better. But you can certainly use
Gotcha. So like a multi-page PDF wouldn't really work. You'd have to take it and chunk it into slides.
No, it can work, but it'll just, it'll break them up. It'll break up the multi-pages into multiple slides. But it just, it'll be a little smaller. So I'll just give you a sneak preview. This is what a document upload would look like.
Okay.
It's in portrait mode, but you can always zoom in to see it better. But just the orientation of VoiceThread is fit to match the screen. So the screen is more horizontal than vertical, and that's the way VoiceThread's set up.
Got it. Thank you.
No problem. All right, so let's move into Canvas. Now, before I start showing you where to click stuff, I just want to give you a quick overview about how the integration works. So there are 6 different types of links you can add in Canvas. 3 of them are non-graded, and 3 of them are graded. The non-graded types are a link to the VoiceThread homepage. That's the first one I'll show you. The course view, which takes you right into that course group. If you remember, I showed you the groups and courses panel on the left-hand side of my homepage. This would just take you right to that course group, basically saving you a click from the homepage. The individual VoiceThread is what I call like the bread and butter type of link. This is what you would use to share any VoiceThread that you create with your class, as long as it's not a graded assignment. So any lectures, reviews, announcements, introductions, all of that stuff, this is like your go-to type of link. Then there are the graded assignment types. The create assignment, where you want the students to create a VoiceThread for some type of presentation or demonstration and submit it for a grade. The comment assignment, where you share a VoiceThread with the class, but you can require them to comment a specific number of times. So this is usually used for graded discussions or some type of quiz or test assessment. And then finally, there's the watch assignment. And this is the one, it's really an alternative to the individual VoiceThread option. So for the watch assignment, there's no interaction required, but you share a VoiceThread this way, and the students will have to watch the whole thing in order to submit it to get credit, which means they have to play all of your comments and any video or audio slides that you have. All right, now I mentioned there's a few things that happen automatically. The course group gets created automatically whenever you configure one of these links. The other things that happen are student accounts are created as soon as they click on one of these links. So if they've never used VoiceThread previously, they don't need to go out and sign up for an account, pick a password, any of that stuff. It all happens with one click. It's single sign-on through Canvas. They click on the link. It'll create their account. It'll sign them into their account, and it will add them as a member of your course group. All right, now let's get into how to add these things. So the non-graded types are added through modules. The graded types are added through assignments. So you don't need to add a homepage link into your course. I always recommend it because of all of those resources, contacting support, getting the help documentation, and having the ability to create VoiceThreads before you're ready to share them. So I always recommend putting one in. So let's say I wanted to do that in week 1 of my course here. I'm in modules. I click on the plus sign. I'm going to go to external tool, find VoiceThread in my list, and click on it. And that's going to pop up my configuration menu. All right, so I'm going to expand this window out, but you can see the 3 non-graded types of links I can make this, and then the 3 graded types are tucked away behind the assignment builder. So I want this to be a homepage link, so I just have to click VoiceThread homepage and then give it a name. So I'm going to call this VP Home, publish it. That brings me back to my Canvas menu where I then click Add Item. Now that link is in the course. So if I or my students click on this link, it will sign us into our accounts and show us our VoiceThread homepage. So the students will see their homepage, you'll see your homepage, and once it loads, you can get into those basic tutorials through that 3-bar menu. You can access the help documentation through that blue help tab. You can contact support through the about menu, and you can create VoiceThreads before you're ready to share them. Right? So all of that stuff you can do on the homepage. All right, now let's say I want to start adding VoiceThreads into the weekly modules now. I have that social work lecture that I just made a few moments ago with you, and I'm ready to add that into week 1. It's my first lecture of the year. So I'm going to click the plus sign. Once again, same process. I go to External Tools, find VoiceThread, and click on it. That will load the same configuration menu we just saw. This time, though, I'm going to choose the individual VoiceThread option. So I click on individual VoiceThread, and it's going to load a list of all of my VoiceThreads here. All right, now I can select the one that I want to share. So I click on that lecture. I click Continue. I have a chance to make any changes to the slides or the title before I share this, but let's say I'm happy with what I have. I just click Continue. I have a chance to make any changes to the comments. I can delete comments, record new ones, but if I'm happy with what I have, I'm just going to continue. And now I can decide on playback settings. So when I opened the comment fan earlier, you saw there were 5 ways to comment. Those are all available by default. but maybe you don't want the students to use all 5 of these. You can uncheck the ones you don't want them to use. And now when they open the comment fan in this example, they'll only see these 2 options in the comment fan. All right, so that's an option for you. You can allow students to add slides to the VoiceThread if you want, make it collaborative. You can enable threaded commenting, and I'll show you what this looks like in a few moments, but this is just a way to respond directly to commenters that have already commented on your VoiceThread. After that, there's comment moderation. So that's typically used in the comment assignment, and I'll talk about that a little more when we get there later, but comment moderation is a way to make all of the incoming comments to your VoiceThread hidden. So you, as the instructor, will still see and hear all of them, but the students will not see or hear each other's. Then you can also decide to limit the length of the comments that they can make. So you can make this 1 minute, 30 seconds, 5 minutes, whatever you like. You can have this start playing when it's opened automatically, have it automatically advance to the next slide when your comments are done playing. And then we have some additional permissions here. So I can allow students to download the slides in my VoiceThread if I want. I can allow them to convert my VoiceThread to a video file that they save on their computer if I want. And I can allow them to make a copy of the VoiceThread to save it in their VoiceThread account. I usually leave these unchecked, but those features are there if you need them. And then I'm going to click Continue. Finish this off with a title. This is how it will look in Canvas. Publish. Once again, that brings me back to my Canvas menu where I click Add Item. All right, so let's pretend I'm a student for a second. I come into the course. I've gone to the home page. I've checked out those tutorials as per your instructions. I have a basic idea about how to comment and navigate. And I'm going to dive into this first lecture. So I click on that link, and it's essentially going to work like an embedded video as far as the student is concerned. That VoiceThread will open up in this frame. You can see on the left-hand side, we're still in Canvas, right? We haven't left, but the student can now play the VoiceThread. Now I'm recording. The red light's blinking. The timer has started. All right, they can pause. They can go back and listen to what you said again. Gives them a chance, especially good for students with processing issues that may struggle in synchronous sessions. And if they have questions or they're going to respond to a question that you asked, they can just click on that plus sign and record. And you can see that because I removed some of those options, I only have the microphone and webcam options available there. All right, so that's how to add the non-graded types of links. What I want to do now is show you a couple of examples of types of VoiceThreads that you might create and share that way. Oh, hold on. Let me make sure I'm logged in here. This happens when I have 15 tabs open and I'm also using a learning management system at the same time. Let me just refresh these. All right, so the first example I'm going to show you is one where the instructor recorded an introduction. All right, so when I was creating my VoiceThread earlier, one of the options I had when I was adding my media was to use the webcam. All right, and that's what this instructor did. She recorded directly from her webcam. This took her 1 minute and 28 seconds to record. It's only one slide. She didn't add anything else to this. She could have had a PowerPoint after this or whatever she wanted, but this is a quick and easy kind of VoiceThread. Now I'm going to play a little bit of this for you. I want you to note 2 things. Number 1, you're watching a screen share of my screen, so the video is probably going to lag behind the audio on your view. Don't worry, that's not how it actually looks on my screen. More importantly, focus on the nonverbal communication. So imagine if this instructor had tried to do this as a text discussion board. She's going to miss out, and her students are going to miss out on all of that nonverbal communication, the facial expressions, the body language, the hand gestures, the tone of voice, the cadence, all of that stuff that goes into humanizing communication. And this instructor brings that back in by using VoiceThread.
Hi class, welcome to Tool 5, Technology for Kinesiology. I hope you have lots of experience in kines. I hope you have lots of experience in technology, but just in case you don't, by the time you finish with this class, you certainly will feel comfortable with technology in kinesiology. So the first thing we're going to do is participate in my little voice thread here.
All right, so she goes on to tell her students to click on the plus sign, choose their commenting method, and record their intros. But you can see all of the students have recorded their introductions in the conversation channel. I'm just going to play a few seconds of the student comments so you can see how that looks. While I play it, I want you to notice that I can grab the bottom corner to expand the size of the comment bubble, and I can also move it around the screen if I want to.
Hi, my name is Andrea, and I'm an exercise science major. I chose this major because I like the idea of keeping yourself healthy and active and finding new ways to do that through what you love to do.
All right, so this teacher can establish that human presence. She can welcome the students to the class. The students can connect with each other. And, you've gone a long way to building that community, right, with a simple 1 minute and 28-second long recording. All right, now this next one is an example of a document. So it's a 3-page document. So you can see up top, it's a 3-slide voice thread. This instructor uploaded his syllabus, and I'm going to zoom in so we can see it a little better. Before I play this, though, there's one other feature I want to show you. Next to the play controls, there is a 1x. That's the speed control. So if I click on this, I can speed up or slow down the comments. So I'm going to speed this up to 1.35 times as fast. And as I play this, I just want you to notice that he's going to use that doodle pencil to annotate on the document as he talks through it.
Welcome to HSES 3A, Sociology of Sport, for the summer of 2014. I'll be your instructor. We're going to go through this syllabus right here and talk about some of the more important parts of class for the introduction and what you can expect as we go along. Right up here is my contact info. I'm circling it for you right there. You can contact me at any point. You can email me. I'm accessible by email, and I will be so.
All right, so I'm going to stop him there. But if I scrub along the timeline, you'll see he continues to go on to annotate and lead his students through this syllabus, just like if you were standing in front of the class and had handed out, 40 or 50 copies of his syllabus. All right, now this next one is more the standard use case for the individual voice thread. This is a lecture. This instructor uploaded a presentation, so it's a 16-slide PowerPoint. Now, as a pro tip, we always recommend exporting your PowerPoint or Keynote as a PDF first. You can upload a raw PowerPoint or Keynote file, but if you have any unusual settings at all, you may notice some unusual formatting. So if you export it as a PDF, what you see on that PDF is what you'll see on VoiceThread, and that's what this instructor did. All right, now this lecture happens to be for a business law class, but keep in mind this could be any lecture, right? If you ever use PowerPoint with your students, this could be your PowerPoint here, and this could be you popping out from the conversation channel to teach them.
Welcome to our voice thread on legal opinions. The legal opinions are not written primarily for the purpose of telling a lay audience a story about a case in the way that I typically do in class. The legal opinion itself, the case text, is written to teach a professional audience how the law will apply. Because there's a very different task from, say, a novel, there's a very different structure than a novel would have.
All right, so I'm going to stop there, but he goes on each slide to record his lecture, and once again, if the students had questions in a face-to-face class, they would raise their hand. On VoiceThread, they would click on the plus sign and record them. All right, now here's the final example I want to show you. This is a discussion. So this is one that we have in our VoiceThread Certified Educator course. I facilitate the course, and all of the participants here are faculty members, instructional designers, administrators. So we're having kind of a meta discussion here. This is an online discussion about online discussions and how to improve them. So I start this off with the prompt.
All right, so I'm going to leave a link to a blog post that we wrote right after this, and it's about shallow student comments that lead to kind of dead-end conversations. So my question is...
All right, so I go on to ask a question, and you can see all of the responses here. All right, now one thing you'll notice is that my comment is captioned. That's because I have the automatic captions turned on as part of my license. You have the automatic captions turned on as well. There's nothing you need to do to get them to show up. You just record your comment, and within 5 minutes or so, they'll be captioned. Now, you can get in to edit the captions. If you click on the CC icon in your comment bubble, you can click Edit Captions. You can play the comment.
All right, so I'm going to leave a link to a blog post
And you can get in to make any changes here in the text box, save the captions, and you're all set. All right, now I mentioned threaded replies earlier. That's what you see here in the conversation channel. These circles are the threaded replies. So the squares are normal standard VoiceThread comments. The circles are threaded replies. I use them to give feedback to individual participants in my courses, and you can see how the students can engage with each other as well. So let's say I'm listening to Stacy and I want to respond directly to something she said.
Hi there. Thank you so much for this topic. This is Stacy. I appreciate.
All right, in her comment bubble, I can see that arrow. If I click on the arrow, it will insert my identity image into the conversation channel where it belongs, connect it to hers by a thread, and then I can record my response to Stacy. All right, so these are all examples of individual voice threads: a non-graded discussion, lecture, review of some kind, document, syllabus review, introductions, announcements, those sorts of things. Before we get into the assignment builder and I show you the graded stuff, I just want to pause to see if we have any questions about any of the features I've shown so far, any of the examples, anything at all that you're not sure about. Yeah, well, if we don't have questions, we can carry on. All right, so the non-graded stuff is created through modules. The graded stuff is created through assignments. So let's say I want to start adding some assignments. Maybe the first one I'm going to add is a watch assignment. That's the one that's an alternative to what I just showed you. The watch assignment does not require any interaction. It just measures whether the student has played the entire voice thread all the way through, all the comments and any video or audio slides. All right, so to start this process, it's basically the same thing, but the menus in the Canvas assignment area are just a little different than they are in modules. But starts off the same way. I click on the plus sign. I choose external tool. I can give this a name. So I'm going to call this lecture 1. I'll just note that it's graded. And because this is really just like an online attendance, let's say this is worth 5 points. All right, now I did select external tool, but you'll notice it didn't give me a drop-down of tools to select from like it does in modules. So to do that, I need to go into more options. All right, so I click more options, and now I can get into my external tool list. I can find VoiceThread, click on it, and that will bring me to my configuration menu. And once again, I recommend stretching this guy out a little bit. All right, now I'm going to go into the assignment builder for the assignment. The assignment builder will create a gradebook column in Canvas for this assignment, and it comes with a grading interface, and I'll show you how to grade this stuff in just a little bit. But I'm going to click Assignment Builder. The assignment type that I want is the Watch assignment. So I'm going to select Watch and then Continue. Now it's going to give me that same list of all of my voice threads. I can find the one that I want to use and I click on it. Now here's an important message. Selecting an existing voice thread will make a copy of it for use in this assignment. So the one I'm clicking on is the original. It's on my home page. The original is not actually being shared with the class. That I can just keep copying that over and over again for each semester or each section of the course. What's being shared with the class is a copy that's instantly being made as soon as I click Continue. All right, so I'm going to click Continue. It instantly copies that lecture. Now I can make any changes to the copy if I want. Click Continue.
Now I'm recording.
Make any changes to the comments and click Continue. And now these are just a truncated group of the settings we already saw. I can have this start playing automatically when it's opened. I can have it automatically advance. And then we have those additional permissions. I'm going to click Continue, give this a name, Lecture 1 Graded. I can add my instructions. I can pick a start date for when this is first available for students to submit, a due date. All right, now the students can submit after the due date, but it will show up in your grading interface as submitted late, and it will be highlighted in red, so you can't miss it. If you want to deduct points or something like that, you can certainly do that. And then there is the close date. So let's say I want to turn off submissions altogether. So I'm giving them a week to do this, but I'm going to review this stuff over the weekend. So let's say I'm going to click on the close date, and I'll give them until Sunday afternoon to submit it late, and then it's closed. And then I publish it. That brings me back to my Canvas menu where I click select, and then I can save and publish. All right, so that's the watch assignment. Now, the next kind I want to show you is the comment assignment. So this is used for graded discussions or quiz or test assessments. So I can see that I have my watch assignment has already been added in, and now I'm going to create my comment assignment. So I click on the plus sign, choose external tool, give it a name. Let's say this is a quiz. Maybe it's worth 50 points. I have to go into more options, remember, to find VoiceThread in my external tool list. I select find, click on VoiceThread. That loads the configuration menu. I click on assignment builder because I want to grade this. And now I'm going to choose the comment assignment. So I select comment and continue. Once again, I have to select which VoiceThread I want to use. So I can search as well. Let me search for one. Maybe I have a quiz that I made a few semesters ago. So let's say that's it. All right, now remember, when I select one, it's making a copy of it. And that copy lives in this assignment link. That's the only place that you or your students will find it, in this link that I'm creating. So on the original on your homepage, you won't see any comments on that because the original is not being shared. All right, this one is being shared as a copy. So I click continue, it copies it. Now let's say maybe I want to edit the title of this. Let's call this All 2022. There's one. Click continue to make any changes to the comments that I need. Click continue. And now these are the same playback settings we have already seen, except there's a couple of new ones at the top. The number of comments required. So if this is a graded discussion, maybe I'm going to say I want them to make 3 comments, like one response to my prompt and then 2 replies to their classmates later on in the week. And I can set this up as a minimum, a maximum, or an exact number. All right, so for a graded discussion, maybe minimum is a good choice so the students can continue after they've met the requirements, they can continue to discuss. But this assignment is actually supposed to be a quiz, so let's set it up like that. I'm going to say comments required are 10. That can be whatever number you like, and I'll make it exact. I can decide if I want students to add slides to this, which comment types they can make. All right, threaded commenting, if you remember, that's the one where I click on the arrow in a comment bubble to respond. That's a great feature to have on for discussions. But for a quiz, I'm going to want to turn on comment moderation. That's the one that makes all of the incoming comments hidden. As the instructor, remember, you can still see and hear all of them, but the students cannot see or hear each other's, so they can't simply copy the answers of their classmates. I can limit the length of the comments if I want, have it start playing when opened, have it auto advance, etc. I'm going to click continue, give it a name, add my instructions, pick a start date and a due date. All right, now there's one other feature you can use here. This one that says students must complete a prior assignment before starting this one. So let's say this is like a 2-part situation where I want them to watch whatever I had them watch in that watch assignment. Maybe there's a video and I want them to watch that video and then come and take this quiz, but only if they've seen the whole video. So I can set this up as kind of an adaptive release type of situation where I make this assignment contingent on having them completed that one first. So I'm going to click Select Prior Assignment. And now I can find that watch assignment and select it. So now if students go to this assignment, once I've finished setting this up, if they won't be able to start it. It'll tell them they need to go back and complete Lecture 1 graded first. And once they've submitted that, now they can come back and take this quiz. All right, so that's an option you have if you want. You don't need to do that. I can allow students to withdraw and resubmit the assignment. So maybe for a quiz, I don't want that. And then assessment. How do I want to assess this? As a percentage of the total points, as a complete, incomplete, or straight point value. So I'm going to go with straight points for this one. This is going to be worth 50. And I click publish. That brings me back to my Canvas menu where I select and then save and publish. All right, so I want to show you a few examples of types of voice threads that work for that assignment. The discussion, right? That's one where you can set a specific number of comments, but you can create stuff like this for quizzes where you just have a question and the students need to respond.
Hello everyone, it's Henry again. This is such a fun way to use the Doodle tool. I'm going to go for C. Yes, it's also green.
All right, now you can have whatever you want on this slide, right? This could be an image that you want them to analyze, for an art history class. This could be a video where you're asking them, maybe you're teaching a class on nonverbal communication and there's two people sitting at a restaurant talking to each other and you want the students to analyze facial expressions and body language. Whatever it is that you want them to do, you can put on the slide. Maybe you teach a business course. You want students to analyze a chart or a graph, talk about why revenue was lower in the fourth quarter than it is in the second quarter for this business. Whatever you want, you can have there. All right, now this one is a language example. So this instructor created an oral exam. Let me just refresh this one. So she created an oral exam. She teaches English as a second language. And what she's going to do is ask her students conversational English questions and expect them to answer with the appropriate response. All right, just give this one moment. This is an older voice thread. Sometimes the video takes a little while to load.
Good morning. My name is Rashada Khalil. What's your full name? What shall I call you?
All right, and the students all respond.
Hi, my name is Basma Hazem Sultan, and you can call me Basma.
All right, so this is a 22-slide voice thread, and on this one, you would create this as a comment assignment, set the comments required to 22, and you can turn on comment moderation, and the students can respond, right? So whether you teach language or not, this is a format you can use in just about any subject, right? If you're asking the students a question and they're responding, this could be a philosophy teacher. Instead of having the students write 2 paragraphs, you can have them explain for a minute or 2 minutes or whatever you want. What's the difference between Kant and Hume and their views on existentialism, right? And the students can respond. All right, now the final assignment type I want to show you is the create assignment. Then I'll show you what it looks like for the students to submit, and I'll show you how to grade this stuff. So once again, I'm in assignments. Click on the plus sign, choose external tool, give this a name. Let's say this is for student demos. It's worth 100 points. Go into more options. Find VoiceThread in my list. That brings that configuration menu up. I go into the assignment builder because I want to grade this. I click on create and continue. And now the students are going to create the voice thread, but I decide on their playback settings. So how many comments do they have to make? Well, let's say minimum of 1. How many slides? Well, maybe I don't want them to make any more than 15 slides for this presentation. So I'm going to make that 15 slide maximum. Which comment types will be allowed? I can uncheck any I don't want them to use. Do I want threaded commenting turned on? Do I want them to automatically play, etc.? These are all features we've seen, except at the very bottom there's a brand new one, the student gallery. So let's say I want my students to submit their presentation to me for a grade, but also have a place to go to look at each other's and give each other some peer review. I can turn that student gallery on just by checking the box, and I'll show you how the students access the student gallery in just a moment. I click continue, give this a name, add instructions. I'm just going to type the word instructions here so we can see where that shows up. Pick my start date and my due date. I'm going to allow the students to withdraw and resubmit so you can see what that looks like from their perspective. And then how many points is this worth? 100. And I publish. That brings me back to this menu where I select and then save and publish. All right, now a few examples of that. So students can create presentations just like you would create. where they upload a PDF of their PowerPoint or Keynote and they record their narration, right? Standard presentation model. But they can also do stuff like this, where they demonstrate a skill, whether it's for a music class or they're demonstrating that they can improvise in Lydian mode to a backing track, or maybe it's a speech class. In this case, it happens to be a nurse practitioner who's demonstrating a head-to-toe exam.
Hi, my name is Shantae, and I'm a nurse practitioner student at Maryville University. Today, I will be performing my head-to-toe assessment on my volunteer, Deja. Before coming in, she emptied her bladder. She was offered a gown. Her height and weight were measured. A full set of vital signs were taken. We did her near and far vision testing with both the Rosenbaum and Snellen chart. I watched her gait while she walked in, and everything was normal.
All right, so I'm going to stop there, but you can see how this could be used as demonstrations of anything, right? And this is something that can work in a face-to-face class very well. I know my experience when we have presentations to give in front of the class, it can take up 3 or 4 or sometimes even more class periods, right? Where you're kind of losing instruction time to evaluate these student presentations, whereas you can have this stuff all done in VoiceThread and you can reclaim that class time. All right, now here's another example. This is the final example I'll show you today. This is another create assignment, but in this one, instead of having it be a presentation or a demonstration, the teacher asked the students to upload their paper. All right, and this is something that could work in a graphic design class. You can have students upload wireframes of the website they're designing, or a brochure, or any type of art, anything that you need to see and evaluate from a portfolio standpoint. Students can do that. They can create portfolios and share them as create assignments. In this case, it happens to be a paper. Now, I'm going to play a little bit of this teacher's feedback, and I want you to think, if this teacher had just used one of those kind of sticky note tools where you put a note in the margin saying add a paragraph or cite your source, that stuff can be helpful, right? But it's not going to be the same as getting this rich feedback like you would get in an office hours.
Okay, you've attempted to talk about something really awesome here, okay, but you are kind of losing me because you're not introducing this particular idea. So this concept of the banking concept, failing to acknowledge men and women as historical beings, this is a really interesting twist in your argument, and what you need to do is put a quote in directly from the text and explain it so that you're interested.
All right, so I'm going to stop her there, but you can see how she uses that doodle tool just like she would use a red pen in a face-to-face environment if the student had printed that out and come to her office. All right, now that's the last example I want to show you. What I want to do now is log in to this course as a student. Just give me 1 second to get into that course. All right, so I'm in the course as a student now. And let's say I'm going to take this assignment. I click on the link that the instructor provided, and it's going to load my submission interface. I can see the instructions, the technical requirements, when this is due, how it's graded, if I've submitted it yet. When I'm ready, I click Start Assignment, and now I can create my VoiceThread. So these are all the same options we saw earlier. The icons are a little different than you see on the home page, but these are all the same features. I can add from my computer. I can record a webcam slide, a YouTube video, whatever I want to do. So I'm going to click Add from my computer. I'm going to go into my folders and find whatever I need to upload for this presentation. Those files are going to start to upload and process. I can always go in to add more. I can give this a title. Right, and once my slides are processed, I can continue. I can now record my presentation. I can narrate over this. You can always skip this countdown too, by the way. All right, now I can go in and let's say I want to annotate here, talk about whatever it is that I'm going to say to the instructor. When I'm done, I stop and I save it. All right, now I can go. All right, and then once that comment processes, you'll see the red mark turn to a check mark. And now I can submit this assignment. All right, now at this point, maybe I notice in the instructions, the instructor told me, make sure you add a slide with your sources at the end. And I forgot to do that. So because the instructor allowed for resubmission, I can withdraw this submission, go back and make some changes. Excuse me, I can go back and make some changes and then resubmit. Right. At this point, I may also notice that the instructor said, when you submit it, go to the student gallery, check out 2 of your classmates' presentations, and give them some feedback. So I can do that by clicking on this student gallery button. So I click student gallery, and that will open the gallery up in a new tab in my browser, and I can see that I'm the first student to submit. But once my classmates start to submit their presentations, they will show up on this page, and I can view their VoiceThread and record whatever feedback I have for them. All right, now the final thing that I want to do is show you how to grade this. So let me just log back in as the instructor. All right, and I can go to that assignment, I click on the link, and it's going to load my grading interface. So the grading for VoiceThread assignments works in a very similar way to how the speed grader works for your Canvas assignments. But you'll see a list of students. You can click on their name. It will load their work. You can review it, give them a grade, move on to the next student, give them a grade, so on and so forth, right? So for this student, I can play his presentation. If I want to give some private feedback, I can do that as well. I can click on the lock icon, and it looks just like a threaded reply, except it has that lock icon letting me know it's private. Now I can give him the feedback that he needs, and once his classmates come in to give their peer review, they won't see or hear my feedback. Right? And I can enter a grade, click Save Grade, and that will go right into the Canvas gradebook. And then if I have students that have not attempted this, I can remind them. I can click Remind Students. I can edit the text of this message and even get a copy of it sent to me for my records. Click Send Message, and they'll get an email through the course in Canvas letting them know whatever message you have for them. All right, that is everything that I had planned to show you today. Do we have questions? Anything about grading or any of the assignment types that I showed, or anything from the beginning that you just realized doesn't make sense to you? You can always feel free to unmute your mic and jump in.
George, I was just curious. I know before on the watch assignment, we were warned that that means watch like all the way to the end, that students can't just quit like even 2 minutes before the end or something.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, they have to watch that 100% of it. So they have to play all of the comments and any video or audio slides. If they don't, if they try to skip around or they cut some stuff short, it'll tell them what they missed. So in their interface, it won't say that it's ready. It won't submit. It'll tell them, you know, you need to listen to the comment on slide 2. It'll have a list of whatever they missed so they can go back and catch up.
And for the complete prior assignment option, it can only be ones that were set up in VoiceThread.
Yeah, it's only for VoiceThread stuff.
And one more question. When you import, or if you use a YouTube video as the VoiceThread, does it carry the captions over?
That's a good question. I don't believe it'll carry the captions, but it will be captioned once you upload it to VoiceThread. Once you import it, right, VoiceThread captions. So it'll caption it there.
Okay.
So when you record comments on video, you can pause the video at any point and record comments at that point, and you'll see a little blue nib. It's a little ball in the timeline that shows you where that comment was started. So if you want to jump right to that comment, you can see on the bottom here, there are these little blue nibs, right? So let's say I want to jump right to Sarah's comment that starts at the 43rd second. I can click there, and it will jump right to Sarah. All right, now you can decide if you don't want the raw video to play, like the full video, you can check. Oh, I don't have, this is not my VoiceThread, but there'll be when this pops out for your videos, it'll say skip during autoplay. So you can have the full raw video skip, and you can, when you record comments, so let's say I'm going to record here. I can play the video as I'm commenting. So I can say, watch how this instructor starts off with a great introduction.
Class, welcome to Tool 5, Technology for Kinesiology.
Do you notice how she started off, blah, 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 right? I can say whatever I want to say, and whatever I'm playing will be part of my comment. So that stuff will play. So you can experiment with video commenting, but there are a number of ways to use it depending on, what type of course you teach.
Okay. And captions, automatic captions only come in English, correct?
Yeah, that's set at the institutional level. So, there are schools in Latin America that have them automatically show up as Spanish, but it's not granular where different classes can have different languages.
Students could edit the captions, go in and type in a different language. It would accept the
exactly.
VoiceThread accepts international characters, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when you're editing the captions, can you edit them in text mode instead of, how you showed that it's like time? Is it possible to just edit it in text mode and upload it?
You could download the captions, but for individual comments, keep in mind those are each individual files, right? So that would take quite a long time to go in there and download each one and make the changes to the caption file and then re-upload it, right? This way you can.
All right, so I'm going to
save the time. Just go to the CC, edit captions, and make any changes, and you can hear what's being said as you want to edit.
Yeah, I was thinking more for when you import videos, because I have the captions on my videos in YouTube, and they're in Italian. So to me, it's easier to just take that text and edit the captions as a text like you do in YouTube.
Yeah, for sure. So if you have a video that you're going to import, the CC for that is up in the upper right, right? So any central media stuff would be edited here. So what you can do is go to this, and you can see it's kind of grayed out on mine, but you can see edit, download captions, right? So you can actually remove the captions that VoiceThread puts in. If you already have your own captions, you can upload those, and you'll be off to the races.
Nice. I like that answer. Thank you.
All right.
All right. I'm available. I put my email address in the chat. So if there are more questions, I'm not an expert, but I have been using it for a while. I like the improvements that keep being made in VoiceThread, so thank you very much.
Awesome. All right, remember you can always check the blue help tab on your homepage to get written instructions, and you can always contact our support team. They're always happy to help answer any questions you have. And I hope you all have a great weekend and a great rest of your semester if I don't speak with you again, and happy VoiceThreading, everyone.